Hello everybody and welcome to MACH 2022. It is Thursday afternoon and this guy has been moaning about his feet. We're here on the Schunk stand. I'm not going to let him live this down, but we're here on the Schunk stand. I do understand why you're moaning about your feet, Marcel.
It's been a long week, a lovely, fantastic week, but very, very long.
But good, and that's what's been great about it. MACH 2022 has been so busy. Thank you for watching this stream, by the way. If you've got any questions, and you've got questions for this guy, because he certainly knows his product range of over 11,000 products. But if you've got any questions, send them in, and we've got earpieces so we can get those questions straight across to the experts as well. So Marcel, just give me a little bit of a heads up. Schunk, tell me about the brand and the company, really.
So there's a bit of a story here. So we started with traditional workholding equipment, and then we moved 40 years ago into automation. And most of the things we do that you see here today were Schunk just scratching our own itch. We're trying to make things, and you can't do it in a certain way. We find a solution for that, then we think the world deserves to have it, and we put it on the market. Sounds very salesy, I know, but it's truly not. Like every single workholding, every single equipment, everything that we do, we tested and tried and developed in our own factories.
I guess, from what you're telling me, it's just you're engineers at heart. You've all come up against problems. You've listened to your customers' problems, engineers' problems, and what Schunk do and what they specialise in is listen to those, create solutions and bring them to market to basically lift market.
Exactly. So what we do is we sell time. Right? All the things you're seeing here will make things faster, make it better, and make it in less time. And that analogy that time is money is really fake, because with time you can get money, but you can't get time back with money.
No, you can't. That blows my mind a little bit, but you can't get
time. You cannot buy time, right? So that's the most important and precious of all commodities. And you can get it from us for very little money. So I say.
So I say. Right, okay, 11,000 products. What have you gone for on the stand? Look, we're literally going to have a tour of the stand. We're going to go in depth about the products, why they've gone through these. But this is to give you a little teaser. We've got Joe on the sides, we've got Rowan as well. So, Marcel, why have you gone for what you've gone for on the stand?
So the theme here is machine tending and machine productivity, addressing the problems we have. Like everybody's so busy, they need to make more fast. So we have the work holding, the traditional things, they're still very productive oriented. And then the shows are the machine tending solutions. So we're starting from a simple one to a complex one that you guys will be talking about. But mainly what is driving us is a real case that happened to us not long ago. A customer needed to, they found themselves in the COVID hole. Orders dried out. This beautiful project came to them that they could put them back where they were, but the only way to fulfill it would be to automate their machine. A legacy machine with problems with no air through the table, normal stuff. And we found a solution for them. Simple, nothing special, but we sat down with them, understood the problem, what it was, and that made it possible for them to take an order that brought them back to their feet. That's the kind of stuff we're showing here today. Solutions, yeah. And,
it is a big brand, it is a big company. Do you feel like because of the size of the company and the amount of products you have, engineers, do they come to, what are your main conversations you're having with people here? Do they know you? What are they saying?
Yeah, we are the best kept secret in the industry. So many people do know us, but because we are so diverse, so people who buy our tool holders come to us and say, I didn't know you make vices. Then people who buy vices, I didn't know you make chucks. Oh, we have automation. So we are well known, but in a very narrow way. So what we're trying to do is expand. And we could really bore you to death by going through everything that we do.
We don't want to do that.
So what we try to do is just, listen, give us the problem, we'll sit down and we'll find a solution for you. Because we don't know everything that we do. So we take to our specialists, our lovely German boys who are here helping us today, and they will find a solution.
There's a lovely sincerity and honesty about you. I love the fact. So it's basically Marcel from Schunk says we're the best kept secret in manufacturing. Conversations that you've been having on the stand as well, what have people been saying?
We're very busy. We need to make more stuff. Help us make more stuff. Yeah, it's everybody's so busy, so good. It's so good to see. It's just a thriving industry again. People are getting orders. They are buying new machines, they are buying new equipment, they need things to go with the new machines, they need things to go to the existing machines while the new machine's not there yet. It's just a lovely time, really.
Oh, it's so good, right? I'm really excited. I'm going to come back to Marcel at the end, and he's probably going to moan to me about his feet again, because he literally, I came over to the stand. I don't know if you missed the start of the stream, but I came over there and he was like, my feet are hurting me. Oh my goodness, I want to chop my feet off. And I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, we're walking around all day. Look at him.
You really make me look bad.
No. We'll get you some new shoes. We'll get you some slippers for tomorrow. Right, okay, we're going to head over now to Joe, who is in front of actually the flex loader and the solutions over the other side of the stand. We'll see you back in a few moments.
Thank you. I'll sit down.
Okay, so I'm here with Joey from Schunk, and we're going to be talking about one of their more advanced pallet changing automation systems. And Jerry, just looking at this, you may be mistaken to think, it's just another pallet changer. But there's a little bit of a difference with this one.
There's a bit of a difference over this, whereas we're simulating here a typical machine where we have no services actually on the machine table itself. So we're actually activating our pneumatic 0 point via an air feed from the robot automatically, and then we'll be coming on to showing you how you actually activate the pneumatic vice. Okay.
When you say services, just explain that for those that don't know.
So where you've basically got a regular machine table with no air or hydraulics actually on that table.
And to me, this could be a 3-axis vertical machining centre, but the big one for me is 5-axis machines. It must be difficult to add services to that, retrofitting them, because obviously the nature of the table, rotating, moving, and all different angles.
Exactly that. So it have to come from the manufacturer to have the air coming through the table, and it's quite an expensive retrofit where we can now give you quite a cost-effective solution to actually add those services to a table, so effectively you don't have wraparound of airlines, etc.
And what the advantage is other than that, because it's not just for 5-axis machines, so if you take a 3-axis VMC, where's the advantages?
So you can actually have an automated vice where we can actuate it now by the actual use of the robot, bringing in the air to that vice to cycle it through.
And that's what we're seeing here. As I say, if you were just stood here and not really paying too much attention, you just think it's got services on and one of many manufacturers that offer this. But again, this is different.
Yeah. So basically, this is our simple machine tool with no air on the table. And what we're doing is bringing in the robot to, first of all, both pallet load and also activate the air of the services. So at the moment, we are activating the 0 point, and now we're coming in and lifting the pallet now the 0 point has been opened. So we're now going to swap from a completely different process to actually hold square stock instead of round bar.
It's important to note you're partnering ABB on this project with their ABB flex loader, but you don't need an ABB flex loader necessarily for this.
No, any form of robot that can basically sit on the backside of your machine tool, any robot, we can make it adaptable.
And arguably not even robots, is it? Some of these pallet changers, they're not robots as such.
No, the pallet changers are not necessarily a robot. We've got very different solutions for different applications. This is a reasonably automated cell, showing you some of the benefits of using our system.
I'm just trying to think of some downsides, and I must admit I'm struggling at the moment, but one of them could be down clamping force. Is that an issue when we haven't got services ready straight to the table permanently?
No, so we only need one shot of air to actually activate any of our pneumatic systems on demonstration here. So it's one shot of air, and we do not need a continual supply of air to maintain that clamping force.
So possibly this could become a standard, almost having this rather than services on the bed potentially.
Exactly that, and it brings a solution to everyone, even on some of the older machines that are still out there.
And if we move over to the other side of the stand here, I know there's we've actually got it simulated and we can actually touch and feel it. So if you can just run through it again here for us.
So this is our pallet loading system. So typically here is our robot, and what we're actually demonstrating here is that we can actually interact to make sure that we've actually connected with the part and to actually have part present sensors, so we can actually make the cycle safe and secure. So if there is any faults, the process will stop.
And KSP, it's a huge range, but I believe this is new again, more innovations.
So the KSP has been upgraded. It looks exactly the same as the old version, but now we actually have more sensing options both in the actual vice, so we can interrogate it to say when the vice is open or closed. We can also have part present sensors in there and air clean blast after the cycle is finished to remove the swarf.
You think of everything at Schunk for automation, don't you?
Absolutely.
It's fair to say the system we've just seen is typical of a reasonable investment in automation. What about from them SME? I really want to invest in automation, but I can't quite get there. I can't quite come to invest, 6 figures plus in an automation system. What happens if I've only got, say, £4,000, £5,000?
So I have a solution for that as well, where we can actually utilise your machine tool. So we are basically got an automation system here that is using coolant to actually actuate the gripper. So basically this time may be at the end of the shift.
Yeah, I guess depending on cycle time, if you're doing a lot of bullnose finishing and multiple hours, there's an argument you don't need anything else really.
Well, it can give you some out of hours lights out machining. So typically you could have this system on your machine tool with maybe a dozen parts in its billet form, and we can actually probably do in its simplest form all op ones, in the free time after the lights are out.
What a great idea. And what are the other two items on this table? Obviously part of the same family, I'm guessing.
It's all part of the same family.
Items on this table, obviously part of the same family, I'm guessing.
It's all part of the same family. So here we have a magnet. So again, the coolant pressure will actually activate the magnet, so we can pick up ferrous materials and load them into a typical pneumatic vice. Then we also have the vacuum option, where we can actually basically pick up thin sheet, delicate items, typically very thin plate work.
So I know this is brand new, but who do you see adopting this? Do you think it will be those people reticent for the large investments in automation, or do you see this being, SMEs and large companies as well?
No. This is your small sort of job shop looking to automation, so they can buy this solution, and when they see the benefit of automation, they can then actually take all of this equipment and actually add it to a more flexible robot, full robot type system.
When I look at this, I often think about, the machining process. It can be quite a dirty process, can't it? Swarf can be present, just debris around the machining environment. But I believe there's something to fix that as well, the nozzle on the bottom.
Yes, we have the cleaning nozzle as well, so again that can go into a regular tool holder, so we can actually bring the nozzle across above the part and wash down the part to remove all the swarf.
Obviously we don't want to be loading parts into vices where swarf is present.
Yeah, absolutely. Swarf is one of the enemies of automation, because you do need a clean working environment, and that's why we have air purges on most of our pneumatic systems to make sure housekeeping is good.
Okay, so if I can just ask you to, I suppose, evaluate both for for the viewers, why would someone buy the ABB solution with obviously your specialism as well, and who would buy this and why should they buy this? So the two.
So this system here is for the small company that just needs a little bit of extra production out of hours, whereas the ABB solution that we're showing here is, typically a full 24-hour cycle time, continually loading parts, unloading parts, and on this particular solution over here, we are completely machining both ops, so op 10 and op 20.
Okay, thank you very much, Jerry. But I can tell you what is clear, if you're not quite sure which is for you, Schunk definitely have an automation solution for you.
Marcel, Schunk are well known for their robot grippers. That's what everyone thinks as soon as they think, I bought a robot, I need something to go on the end of it. But you guys do work holding, you guys do tool holding. Why should we be thinking about Schunk when we need a new vice, a new rotating chuck? Why should we think Schunk?
Ironically, we have started these a lot earlier than the automation. The automation came as an extension of these. So we are traditionally a very strong work holding stationary chucks, lathes manufacturer. This is a nice example. This got a lot of attention.
Go on, get in there, Chris. Have a quick look at the tombstone.
So this is a tombstone, okay, bog standard not quite. So you have a 0 point integrated into the tombstone, and then we made a little bit of a Christmas tree here. So you have magnetic on one side, you have multi-vice clamping on the other side. This is how we make the stuff you see here. Schunk is full of these things with quick change systems for our own production. The way this would work, you pipe your air into here and you're good to change. 5 seconds, you redo a whole tombstone.
And what I like about this is you don't need any complex control systems, any complex pneumatic control systems. Someone can literally come here, grab the end of a pipe, bang it on here, clamped.
Exactly. So once the air goes, this comes loose. Once the air is pulled out, it locks and it can be stored and put into your machine with no connection. The whole thing is inert and good to go for as long as you need to store it for.
On a tombstone, it's critical when you've got a horizontal machine tool. I don't see many horizontal machine tools without one of these tombstones. They're needed, and obviously that's why you guys use these at Schunk. You're using your own products.
We do. Literally, we have hundreds of this thing on Fastems pallets. Let's do some promotion of our partners. We have a Fastem system full of these, full of our vices. This is truly the way to optimize your machine production if you have an horizontal machine.
Yeah, exactly, and you can fit so many parts, especially if you then have a horizontal machine normally has 2 pallet changes, but if you start having fast ends, like you say, 16, 32 pallet changes, with one of these, this multiplies the number of parts you can make by 3, and then maybe even by another 4.
3, 4, 6, this can be in whatever shape you want. We can make them with matrix holding, we can make them with presets, we can make them specials. They can be made to whatever shape and size that you need, which leads us nicely maybe here.
Yeah, it does, so to the mag bases.
Yeah, so it's hard to show over there, but then they can be combined with the other bits that we do. So here we have a magnetic plate, similar system. The control can be pulled out, so this is a permanent magnet. Once it's locked, it's done. So once this goes inside the machine, it's safe, it will never let it go, and then you can make extensions, so these what we call pole extensions. Think of soft jaws, right, to your shape, and then you can use these in whatever way you like. And the beauty of these is not only quick, flippable, flexible, you have a full exposed surface, so you can machine all sides.
So all you need to do is find some ferrous material, maybe a mild steel.
Yeah. Please, ferrous.
Yeah, no, don't do aluminium, don't put in some aluminium.
No titanium, no aluminium, no plastic.
But also, because it's steel, I guess you have quite a hard-wearing surface here, so you can reuse these. They're not soft jaws, they're kind of more like hard jaws, really.
Indeed, so they will last for as long as you need them to last, and then you can change them to whatever shape you like as well. You can then use with or without.
And what I like about these is the modularity of the system. So you've got the 0 point integral to this cast iron tombstone, which is, at the end of the day, someone with a big horizontal machine who's got 16 pallets fast M solutions, they're going to be making lots of the same part, probably.
Yes.
They may not be 4-axis, 5-axis parts, they might still be 3-axis, but they'll be doing higher volumes. But the same concept can even be applied and can help smaller manufacturers who have smaller jobs. So you see here, you've got the single 0 point pots, which is, this would fit on the smallest VMC money can buy.
Our 0 point starts from 49 millimeters, tiny little one called the micro. We have a very unique solution, which is a double-sided 0 point. So for the modularity, you can build them up. They start to grow into your 90s, and then you have the traditional 138. A play like these,
the standard vices.
4 tons of capacity.
Yeah, definitely. If you've got any questions for Schunk, then make sure you get out and stick those in the live stream. We'll be asking questions to Marcel. He's the MD of Schunk right now in Europe. Yeah, exactly. So if you want to ask the man, he's the man to ask. And also, I mean, look at the stand right now. It's so busy. There's loads of people. I'm glad that these people weren't looking at the robot while Joe was trying to talk about it, because he wouldn't have been able to get in. So we've talked about higher volume machining on big horizontal machines.
Stationary, let's say.
Stationary work holding. But and also how you guys can offer solutions that help subcontractors. So have you got any case studies to explain to us how these smaller companies have benefited? Right
here we have 2 cases that we discussed during the show. So let's start with this just because it's closer. So here, normal chuck. These are quite interesting. So these are what we call Quintus chuck jaws. Basically, it's a polymer with ceramic fiber in them. Why do they exist? This gives you a higher level of friction while being gentle on the metal. So we had a customer coming to us, listen, I need a chuck that will be very gentle on a ring for bearing. So what we would do is introduce pendulum jaws. So they would have essentially 6 points of contact. Straight away, you are more gentle on it. And because you have a higher friction level, so metal to metal, you have 0.10 friction level. With these, you get 0.3, so 3 times the friction. What does that mean? It won't be pulled, which means that you can clamp with lower force, so it won't deform a very delicate ring for a bearing.
That is fascinating with the higher friction coefficient. And there's obviously, to me, there seems to be quite a lot of application to this where people would have to, they clamp something and, it's got marks on it, I'm then going to do a second operation, and this saves that.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it's the synergy. So we use these on our chucks, on our vices, and on our grippers as well. On the 0 points, and I'm going to do a quick walk around, we had a customer talking to us because 0 points is already something that is less popular than it should be. We really should be seeing these everywhere. Even less known part of the 0 points is that you can direct clamp into it. So you can use the pins for the 0 points directly mounted into the part, okay?
Because these can be, how do you do that? Can you explain it? Because it's just a bolt, isn't it?
Yeah, so all you need to do is step your part and screw those into it. So why would you do that? Well, first of all, you don't need any other fixture, 1. 2, which was particularly important for this application, you have all of the part exposed. So now it's aluminium. This is out of the question. Bring here. You have all of that exposed on the 5-axis machine. So they would have a pin on the bottom, drop, lock, machine, pull it out, flip it, just finish the other side.
So this to me says it's either for a big 5-axis part where you need to access really all the way down to the bottom.
The direct clamp can be because the part is too big for another fixture, right? So we have a solution for a customer, a massive billet that no vice or chuck will be capable of doing it. 4 pins, 3 tons, directly into one of those.
And the clamping force on these 0 points is absolutely huge. It's a full cam lock, so you've got the repeatability, you've got the rigidity.
It's 1,500 kilonewtons.
Which is more than enough for some SME running a BMC. And what I love about that direct clamping is there's no need to buy any extra vices, any extra work holding. So even if their budget is limited, they can still look at investing in 0 point. And can you explain to me also, with the manual system, you don't need any automated system, you can just grab an airline with a fitting.
So essentially the way it works is, this is a very tiny one, little lovely one, dollhouse. So basically what you have is, you're going to have air sitting outside the machine, there's nothing inside. This is your fixture, air comes in, fixture comes out, second fixture comes in, air comes out, that's it, it's done. You
so
that sets up your machine for a new job.
So for someone, big
half a second.
Exactly. So the big manufacturers, they've probably been using this for a little while now, but you guys are actually making this technology available to everyone who's not got they've not got the budget for massive work on a system.
Which is an interesting point. So as of MACH and going forward, we are doing a promotion on our 0 points. So a solution like this, 4 pots, all the pins you need to run with that, you can get there for £3,300.
Okay.
The payback on that, it's months. Weeks even.
So the ROI, can we move over to tool holding now? We've spent a little bit too long on work holding. I know we could talk all day.
Excited.
Yeah, you do, exactly. So let's talk about ROI. Schunk have a wide range of tool holders to fit many budgets, but how do you find your customers calculate their ROI? What have they found after buying a Schunk piece of work holding or a Schunk tool holder?
So there is all about time, and in a way, so also here. So what we have here is we start, and this is also a very unknown fact. We have mechanicals, we have collets. People know us better for our hydraulics. So we have hydraulic chucks, then we have our premium hydraulic chucks. Why do we go hydraulic? First of all, the run out. All of our range, 3 microns. And for us, it's important one thing. Many people will measure the run outs over here. When we say 3 microns, it's on the tip of the tool where it matters.
So this is a 3 times D or 5 times D or
exactly. Yes.
So what do customers, when they want to tool up a machine and they choose Schunk, how do they find the benefits? What happens a year down the line, 2 years down the line? What do they come back to you and say?
So what you happen straight away, when you go hydraulic, the vibration dampening will reduce vibration inside your machine and on the tip of the tool. So life of the tool normally at least doubles. So you invest £100, £150 on some of these, and you're going to save a tool that will cost you £50 a pop. This is a lifetime, this is every week. the return of investment is instantaneous.
So that's what it is. It's definitely an investment in one of these tool holders.
They pay for themselves.
They pay for themselves, and you're saving that carbide. And carbide, obviously, the price of carbide will be going up as with everything else. So
Exactly.
saving those edges is probably one of the most important things you can be doing right now.
And there's a reason why if you have one of your reps of carbide, they bring a hydraulic tool holder to test it, because that's the best performance the carbide can achieve. And then we also have heat shrink, but new now coming out, we have a heat shrink profile but using hydraulic technology.
I noticed this, Chris. Have a quick look at this. So this is actually, it looks exactly like a heat shrink, but there's a little, I don't know if you can get that.
Do not heat.
There's a little sign here saying, please don't heat me up, because it's not actually a heat shrink, even though it is. You guys have made it look way too much like it.
Well, but it has to be, because it's the profile that you're trying to achieve. It's
So
the
what
hard
actually
of
is
reach.
it?
So it's a hydraulic tool holder with a very slim profile, naming Slim 4AX, right? So this is our tender range for that kind of application. Why should you go from shrink, which we do make 2 days? Same benefits. The hydraulic body will dampen the vibrations. The time of the tool will be better. Speeds and so you either get better quality on the surface. If that doesn't matter to you, up your speeds and feeds and cut faster.
Yeah.
Also, they come with a cool flow option on the nozzle, and very uniquely, our cool flow at 12,000 RPM does not open the cone. So you get coolant at the tip of the tool.
Which is again all about maintaining that tool edge as long as possible and saving you as much as possible in carbide costs.
Yes, and one other thing that you can do, and it's not every single case should be looked into it, but many times we can avoid having through coolant on the tool, which makes for a very expensive tool, and have it on the through coolant off the holder. So you can go for a cheaper tool while you're using that one.
So you make a one-off investment in your tool holder, and then you can save costs on carbide due to increased tool life, but also because you don't have to go for the expensive carbide with a through tool holes.
And if you're not committed to shrink yet, so you don't have the machine, for the price of one machine, you're going to get 42 of these.
So 42 long-reach tool holders, and that will probably, I mean, I don't know what people are doing with I don't know what kind of parts people are making, but if you need that long reach, 42 tool holders is going to be more than enough for all the weird pockets, all the strange deep cavities you're machining.
Yeah, exactly. So if you go in shrink, you could have had 42 tools before you even got one.
And then you've got to buy all the heat shrink tools as well.
Exactly.
I don't know why you'd go for that. That is fantastic. That's fantastic. Thank you, Marcel. Let's keep going on. So we've also got what you guys are known for, the standard. We'll finish with the robot grippers.
All right.
Shall we go on?
Yeah,
Come on.
let's go.
So I've been walking past this every now and then because our stand's just over there. I've loved walking past this stand every day because every day I see something different on this robot deburrer. Now, can you please explain to me? There's a lot going on.
There's
Can
a
you
lot
please?
going on here. We've done a very big Christmas tree of a solution here.
There is. So I'm not quite sure where to start. So you've got a cast part here. Can you
Yep.
explain first of all the compliance in the system?
So what we're trying to show here is material removal. What is material removal? You're going to be filing, sanding, deburring, or just cutting a little bit of metal, countersinking, for example, right? So why would you do this with a robot? You're either doing this manually and you want to take, is a horrible operation to do it manually, so you want a robot to do it. It's more consistent done by the robot. Or even if you do, and many people do, make their operation inside the machine, that's prime time on prime equipment. Take it out, let the machine do the heavy work, bring the light work to this guy. Yeah. Right. So to achieve these, and you don't necessarily need all of the things we're showing here, it's an exhibition after all, we have a tool changer. What does that mean? You need to deburr, you need to polish, and
look how smooth those tool changes are. Chris has got a lovely shot of that, I hope.
So yeah, no clunkiness, no need of pressure from the robot. The robot doesn't need to put force against that tool. It just needs to be next to it and it will pull in. So now we are doing a simulation of a deburr. So then, okay, you've done that, but now you need to pick that part. That's why you change the tool. It goes back to your gripper, picks that part, and takes to the next operation. When you are filing, deburring, cutting, the part will be fighting against that cutter, so you will need compliance. So what does that mean? You need that the wrist is able to move without forcing its way against the tool.
And causing mechanical damage.
Exactly. So what you're trying to do is protect the very expensive yellow, beautiful equipment you have in there, right? So that is what the compliance is there for. Not only that, the actual cutter, the actual deburring, also has built-in compliance. So that too will move to keep a constant amount of pressure and force, and that can be regulated using pneumatics. So a little bit of pressure will make it more flexible, high pressure will make it very rigid.
So
you
it's
can adjust
it's adjustable
perfectly to their application. So you will see very clearly now. So that's going to just bend a little bit, giving way. Brilliant. So and there would be then polishing that end, which here obviously is a bearing. It's not polishing anything.
No, it's just rotating.
But you know, that would be rotating and polishing that end.
But without this compliance, and there's too much rigidity in the system, the castings are going to be changing every time. Every one that comes in could be plus or minus 2 millimeters.
Exactly. So you accommodate for any variation. We don't have here a polishing solution, but we do also offer polishing. And polishing is a particularly difficult application to do because you will probably polish a complex shape which goes up and down with grooves, and you want to keep that constant pressure on each and every little variation of their surface, and that's why compliance is so important.
Yeah, and that would be critical to this application, to these castings, and also to that polishing application. So,
exactly.
So I've seen a lot of not superfluous but very interesting tool changing, just showing the versatility of the automation system, but also the criticality of that compliance. I found absolutely fascinating when it was explained to me by Jerry.
And one of the important things is we have been doing all of these applications with many different people. So this might not be your solution, but we have seen your problem somewhere. So if you talk to us, we don't do the robot, but we work with these guys. We will find the right people, the right solution, and we'll put everything together for you. I discussed this with Lindsay. It's too many things to go through, right? So come and see us, or ask us to go to you, and just show us the problem, and we will find a solution.
Speak to Schunk, they're the absolute specialists in this automation. And also, speak of the devil, Lindsay's here. She's like, oh, nice, keep you up. I didn't know she was so talented.
It's the only way I can say I'm good at football, to be honest with you.
The way you're going to make me look bad.
That's because her feet are
well, then let's have a go.
today.
Go on, you're going to have a go.
I'm not ashamed that my feet hurt and yours doesn't. I'm not going to try to shame myself playing bad football.
We should be doing some dancing as well.
Oh yeah, that's going to do it. That's really going to do it for me. Yeah.
Oh dear. Have you enjoyed the show?
Yes, very much so. It's been a fantastic show. I can't praise it highly enough. We've seen great companies, we've seen great customers, we've seen great problems that we hopefully will have good solutions for. Yeah.
It's a big company, isn't it? And you kind of have to overcome that.
Very, yes. 3,500 of us.
Oh wow. I mean, just to have, I'm always doing this at the end because it's Thursday, it's busy at MACH. Look, there's customers on the stand, people are all on the stand asking, they're inquiring. This is what's great about MACH. Everyone reconnecting. I think that's what's happening. Engineers reconnecting. We've been so grateful of you watching the show. We've been so grateful of you coming to MACH. I think you kind of closed it off because you said about your showroom as well, didn't you?
Yeah, so if you want to come and see us, we will show solutions in our place. Ideally, we want to go and see your place so we can see in situ what you're trying to do, and a solution will pop.
And does the audience know exactly where your place is?
So we are based in Milton Keynes. You can find us on schunk.com, and you can also call us on 01908 611 127.
It's all on the website. It's been a long week. Now, right, we need to go find you some slippers because I know your feet are hurting in a little sit-up. Make sure you come to the Schunk stand as well because these are some giveaways, aren't they, as well? Right, thank you. A little bit of football. Thank you so much for watching, Rowan. Thank you so much for quizzing this gentleman. I think he'll need to lie down after all of those questions.
Thank you, Marcel. It's been absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, it really has. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back with you in about another hour's time for a live at the show. So we'll see you very